Happy Tuesday, Kipsters. Today we will be adding and subtracting. Let's solve this number sentence that we see on the screen. It says 4 plus 3 equals, what's the answer? 7. And now let's pretend that these circles, the 4 and 3 circles, are bananas. What if I say, what's 4 bananas plus 3 bananas? What's my answer now? It's still 7 bananas. Let's try it the say 10 way now. If I say 4 tens plus 3 tens, what's my answer? How many tens do I have? I have 7 tens, and I can even look at the drawing of the quick tens on the screen. 4 tens plus 3 tens gives me 7 tens. We have 7 tens in all. Now if we say the number sentence the regular way, starting with 40, let's see what our answer is going to be. I put 40 because 4 tens is the same as 40. If I have 4 tens, 10, 20, 30, 40. I have 40. And now 40 plus 30. I said 30 because 3 tens is the same as 30. So if I count again and I say 10, 20, 30, I have 30. So now if I think about my answer, 40 plus 30 equals, what's my answer? 70. Because if we know 4 plus 3 equals 7, then we can figure out 4 tens plus 3 tens equals 7 tens, and we can definitely figure out 40 plus 30 equals 70. In all of our problems, the 4 and 3 and 7 stayed the same, but our units changed. Now let's solve 7 tens minus 4 tens. If I just think about this number sentence, 7 minus 4, without thinking about the tens, it can make it easier to solve this number sentence. So if I have 7 minus 4, my answer is 3. 3 tens. And you can see on the screen, I crossed out 4 tens, and I see 3 tens that are left. And now let's see if we can solve 7 minus 40 even easier. 7 minus 40. If earlier I said 7 tens minus 4 tens equals 3 tens, it seems to me that 70 minus 40 gives me 30. Because remember, I can say either 3 tens or I can say 30. Let's try to solve number 1. I see that there are lots of little baggies there with groups of 10. There are 10 objects in each bag. And if you look right next to the bags, there is a number bond. Remember, a number bond, at the top we see our total. All together, how many there are. And the 2 numbers that you see at the bottom, these are our 2 parts. Our 2 parts that when we add them together, give us our total. So let's see if we can solve our number sentences that we have on the side. The first one says 3 tens plus blank tens equals blank tens. So I already know that 3 tens is one of our parts. We already have that there. And if we're going with the say 10 way, I look at my second part, 20. How can I say 20 in the say 10 way? I say 2 tens. 2 tens is the same as 20. And now if I add that together, 3 tens plus 2 tens, 3 plus 2 is 5 tens. My answer is 5 tens. And now we can look at our second number sentence, which is just the regular way. So instead of saying tens, 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 we can now just say 30 plus 20 equals, what's my answer? How many were there all together? 50. Our answer is 50. And now if we do number 2, where I see a lot of crayon boxes there. And now let's see if we can solve that one. So we're going to clear our work. And now we can start with our number bond. And then we can do our tens number sentence the say 10 way. And then we're going to write our number sentence the regular way. So if we look at that problem, let's count the crayon boxes that are there. Let's start with the first row, 10, 20, 30. And let's go to the bottom, 40, 50, 60, 70. So it seems that our total is 70. 70 crayons all together. because each box has 10 crayons in each box. And now, if I think about the first row, I saw that we had 10, 20, 30. 30 in the first row. And if we go to the second row, let's count that one. 10, 20, 30, 40. There were 40 crayons on the bottom row. And now if we fill out our regular way number sentence, we said 30 plus 40, 30 plus 40 gave us our answer of 70. And now if we just think about how many packs of 10 there are, if we look at the first row, how many crayon boxes are there? There are 3 crayon boxes, or 3 groups of 10. If we look at the bottom row, how many crayon boxes are there? There are 4 crayon boxes, or 4 groups of 10. And if we ask how many groups of 10 or how many crayon boxes are there, we would say 3 tens plus 4 tens equals 7 tens. Let's do number 3. I see that there are some 10 sticks that are crossed out. So we first have to figure out how many did we start with, because there are some 10 sticks that are crossed out. So let's look. We're going to count all the 10 sticks. So we're going to say 1 10, 2 10, 3 tens, 4 tens, 5 tens, 6 tens, 7 tens, 8 tens. So it looks like we started with 8 tens. So that's the total that we had first. We had 8 tens, or 80. And then let's look at how many tens we took away. So if we look at the ones that are crossed out, we can say 1 10, 2 tens, 3 tens. 3 tens have an X over them. So we would write down 3 tens. And what's a regular way to say 3 tens? 30. Remember, I can say 10, 20, 30. It's the same as 3 tens. That's one of my parts. And now if I think about how many were left, so if we look at the ones that are not crossed out, I see 1 10, 2 10, 3, 4, 5 tens. That's our answer for our first number sentence. 8 tens minus 3 tens equals 5 tens. And that means that 5 tens, or 50, is our second part. Because even though we're doing a subtraction number sentence, a number bond still shows us our total, how many we have all together, and then the 2 parts that make up that total. And if we do our number sentence the regular way, we start with our total, 80. How many cubes did we take away? We took away 3 tens, or 30. And how many cubes were we left with? We were left with 50. 50 cubes. So our answer is 50. And now let's look at the bottom one. This one, I don't see that we crossed anything out, which means that we are adding some cubes together. So let's do our number bond. If we do our number bond, I'm thinking about the 2 parts that we have. If you look at the 10 or at the cubes, they are separated into 2 parts already for us. So let's count the first part. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. We have 6 groups of 10, or 60. If we look at the second part, let's count that part. 10, 20, 30. We have 30, or what's the say 10 way for 30? 3 tens. And now we have to think about, if we add all this together, what our total is going to be. We're going to come back to that. So let's do our number sentence the say 10 way. How many tens did we have in the first part? We had 6 groups of 10, or 60 cubes. How many tens did we have in the second part? We had 3 tens, or 30. 6 tens plus 3 tens equals how many groups of 10? Or how many 10 sticks do we have? 6 plus 3. We have 9 tens. And now I think we can figure out our regular way number sentence. We started with 60 cubes first, then we added 30 cubes, And how many cubes do we now have? 60 plus 30, 90. Because I remember 9 tens we had up here, and that's the same as 90. So that means our total for our number bond is 90. As you try to solve these number sentences by yourself, remember, if I know what 4 tens is, that's one group of 10, two groups of 10, three groups of 10, four groups of 10, I remember that's also the same as saying 40, the regular way. I can count them to prove that it is 40. 10, 20, 30, 40. 40 altogether. So as you solve the very first one where it says 40 plus 40, don't get tricked that it's a really big confusing number sentence, because if we were able to figure out before 4 tens plus 4 tens or 4 plus 4, I remember that was really easy to solve. We got 8 tens. So now try to say 8 tens the regular way to figure out 40 plus 40. Pause the video to solve all these number sentences and come back and check your work. If you got all the same answers I did, give yourself a pat in the back for solving all of these number sentences the right way. For your exit ticket, keep remembering that if you know how to say a number the say 10 way, you're able to figure out how to say it the regular way. And it helps us solve these big number sentences a little easier.